Hello friends, in this video we will discuss conversion from Mealy to Mealy machine. As we can see here, already I have drawn a Mealy machine where we have three states Q0, Q1 and Q2. Q0 is the initial state. On an input of A, we have an output of 1. Everywhere, wherever there is an input of A, we have an output of 1. And wherever there is an input of B, we have an output of 0. So let us construct the transition table for the Mealy and then we will convert it into the Mealy machine. So for Q0 state, for an input of, input is A and B. So for an input of A, we go to Q1 and the output is 1. Then for an input of B, we move to Q2 and the output is 0. Then for an input of A, on Q1, we remain in Q1 and the output is 1. And as we can see here, for an input of B in Q1, we move to Q2 and the output is 0. Then for state Q2, for an input of A, we go to Q1 with the output of 1. And for B, we remain in Q2 with the output of 0. So let us convert this into a corresponding Mealy machine. So from transition table of Mealy, we will construct the transition table of Mealy. So we will have 4 columns here. 1 for the output, 2 for the input and 1 for the states. So we have states, we have the input A, we have input B and we have the output. So for Q0 always, if we look here for Q0 in the output states, we find that Q0 never appears on the output side. So the output is going to be empty. Then we look for Q1, always the output is 1. So we'll write output as 1. And for Q2, always the output is 0. So we'll write the output as 0. And rest what we will do, we will copy simply the output states into this table. So we will have Q1 and Q1. And here we will have Q2 and Q2. So in this example, we have looked at if Q0 or any of the states does not appear on the elaborate side of the table, then we have to put a phi in its output variable. Now this is the corresponding Mealy machine. For this Mealy machine, this is the Mealy. Now let us take another example. So again we will take one example. So let us have a Mealy machine Mealy machine Q0 is there, Q1, we have Q2 and we have Q3. So on input of 0, we go to Q1 with the output of even, and on the input of 1, we remain in Q1. Okay, we will output odd here. And, so as we can see, I have instead of the diagram, I have just drawn the transition table for the Mealy machine. So as we can see here, we have states Q1, Q2, Q3 and Q4. On input of 0, we are transiting into Q3 with the output of 0. Similarly, that for other states. And on an input of 1, we move into Q2 with the output of 0 and so on. Now, what we have to do is we have to construct the corresponding Mealy. So as we know that in Mealy machine, the output is associated with the state. So what we will do is, we will make the table with 4 columns. 1 for the output, 1 for the states and 2 for the state transitions. So we have here 4 columns. We have the states here. We have the output state for input of 1, for input of 0 and we have the output variable. So here one thing is very important. Whenever we have multiple states with multiple outputs, like here we can see Q4 has output of 1 and here Q4 has output of 0. In the previous example we had the same output for the same state, but here we can see that for Q4 we have one output as 1 and another output as 0. Similarly, for the state of Q2 we have an output of 1 in one instance and output of 0 in another instance. And when we see for Q3, the outputs are same, and for Q1 the outputs are same. That means Q1 and Q3 will remain untouched, whereas Q2 and Q4 will have to be split into two states, with one state with output of 0 and the other state with the output of 1. So I will do this. For Q1, I have an output of 1 always. For Q2, I have an output of 0 and 1. So what I will do, I will split it into Q2 0 for the state with the output of 0, and I will put Q2 1 for the state with the output of 1. Then Q3, I have the same output, always 0. So I will just write Q3 with the output of 0. And then again we have Q4 with different outputs. So we have Q4 0 with the output of 0. And we have Q4 1. We have Q4 1 here with the output of 1. So now I will write the output states for the Mealy machine. So what I am going to do is, for Q1 I have transition into Q3 and I have transition into Q2, but Q2 with the output of 0. So Q2 with the output of 0 is Q2 0. So wherever I have split the state, there I have to be careful. I have to replace it with the state with the corresponding output. And then we have Q1. Q1 is not split, so we can just write Q1 here. And here Q4 is there, so Q4 with the output of 0. So we have to write Q4 0, because that is the state which is going to output us 0 to us. Then we have Q2 1. Q2 1 will have the same entries as the Q2 state. So we have Q1 and then Q4 is with the output of 0. So we will write Q4 0. Then we have Q3. We will just write Q2, but Q2 which one? With the output of 1. So Q2 1 and Q1 is unsplit. So we will just write Q1 here. Then we have Q4 0. Q4 0, we have Q4 0 as output, Q4 as output with that state which has output of 1. So we will write Q4 1 here, and Q3 is unsplit, so we will just write Q3 here. Then Q4 1, we will write Q4 1 because we have to write the state with the output of 1, and then we will write Q3. And this is the corresponding Mealy machine for the Mealy machine. So as we can see, the only steps are, one thing is if the state doesn't have an output here given here, we will mention a phi. And if a state has two outputs, like here Q2 has 0 and 1 in different instances, then we have to split that state. These are the only two things which have to be taken care of while converting from Mealy to Mealy. I hope this video is useful to you. Thank you very much.